Hello, everyone. I know why you're here, and I'm not judging you because I had this idea because I didn't know anything about Doctor Who, but I know everything about Power Rangers. I mean, my sometimes it'll be a little off. I can promise this, but you're gonna be knowing Power Rangers and caught up to speed by the end of this video. So we're gonna start from the very beginning. It all originated in Japan with a show called Super Sentai in 1975 with their first ever season, Hitsumu Sentai Go Ranger. And in the 16th season, it piqued the interest of an American businessman named Haim Saban, where he decided to make into a martial arts action TV show, but it'd be more Americanized. But anyway, it was attracted to him because it was dinosaur themed. So in the first ever season of Power Rangers, it started with two astronauts going to the moon and not knowing what this thing was, and they open it up. Rita Repulsa comes out, and she decides she's going to take over Earth. Zordon is summoned to find five teenagers with attitude, and his robot Alpha brings five random teenagers who stood up to two bullies, Bulk and Skull, comic relief of the show, by the way. And Jason's the Red Ranger, Billy's the Blue Ranger, Zach's the Black Ranger, Trini's the Yellow Ranger, and Kimberly's the Pink Ranger. Halfway in the season, the Green Ranger is appearing. It is Tommy, who is a bad boy who just moved to Angel Grove causing trouble. And so the point of it was he wanted to destroy the Rangers for Rita, take their powers away so they can take over Earth. Ultimately, Tommy joins the Rangers. And Tommy is the Green Ranger. He's also not. There's a thing called the Green Candle where he will lose his powers and sometimes he won't. It's complicated, but in the second season, we're introduced to new Megazords and a brand new villain, Lord Zed. Lord Zed puts Rita and her goons in a snow globe, except Goldar, I think. But anyway, so Tommy has left the show now, and Tommy comes back, and now he's the White Ranger, and he's the leader of the Power Rangers. And if you explain this to a Sentai fan, it's gonna be like, "What? The Kaiba Rangers now lead the Zoo Rangers?" Okay, so now I would say about a little bit after that, Lord Zed has a Zord called Serpentera, and the Rangers are struggling to defeat Serpentera on another planet. And so Jason, Zach, and Trini basically leave the show, and they are replaced by Rocky as the Red Ranger, Adam is the Black Ranger, and Aisha is the Yellow Ranger. And then they're a team, and basically Rita and Lord Zed join forces and they get married. I know it sounds crazy, just deciding to takes her out of a snow globe, I guess. But anywho, now we're introduced to another villain in the Power Rangers movie called Ivan Ooze. And so the Power Rangers lose their powers to Ivan Ooze. Ivan Ooze decides he's gonna take over Rita Repulsa and Lord Zed's mission of taking over Earth. And so the Power Rangers go to get ninja powers. After they get the ninja powers, they defeat Lord Zed with their brand new Megazords. And after that, they have ninja powers now. And so now Master Vile I forgot to mention one thing. So now Kimberly decides to leave the Power Rangers and is replaced by Catherine, who is new to Angel Grove. And shortly after that, Master Vile turns the Power Rangers into kids, and the Alien Rangers come to Angel Grove to help defend it. And there's not much really to say about the Alien Rangers, and so it was a short-lived show after Power Rangers. So after the Alien Rangers, they're all so as Alien Rangers is going on, actually, I didn't really watch Alien Rangers, but the kid Power Rangers are all over Earth looking for the Zeo Crystal, and Tanya replaces Aisha as Aisha wants to help the animals in Africa, and they all come back to the command center brand new, and now their Mighty Morphin powers are gone, and they're given Zeo powers. Tommy's now the Red Ranger, Rocky's now the Blue Ranger, Adam's the Green Ranger, Tanya's the Yellow Ranger, and Kat's the Pink Ranger. Now, there's another new villain, King Mondu, and he wants to take over Earth with his machine empire. And so we are introduced to Trey, who is the Gold Ranger, and then ultimately Jason takes the Gold Ranger powers and he helps the Power Rangers. And so Now we're going to move on to Turbo. When Turbo happens, it starts with a movie. There's a space pirate called Divatox who's looking for Larigo, and the Power Rangers are looking for Larigo to basically save him from Divatox. And so eventually they go to fight Divatox and on an island. I think it's in like Hawaii or something. And basically, and I forgot to mention, we're introduced to another ranger, and Rocky is no longer the Blue Ranger. He gives his Blue Ranger powers to Justin. He is the new Blue Turbo Ranger. And so after that, they're on the island. I basically spoiled that part, went a little bit ahead of myself, but anyway, once they're on this island, they take on Divatox and this big lava monster, and they save the Earth. And so now we're halfway into Turbo. I mean, I could talk about the Blue Centurion, but now, so basically, Catherine and Tommy are captured by Divatox, and they're saved by a guy named TJ, and they're saved by Cassie. And so, as this episode ends, it's called Passing the Torch. Tommy is no longer the Red Ranger, TJ is. Adam's no longer the Green Ranger, Carlos is. The Yellow Ranger is no longer Tanya, it is Ashley. And Catherine gives her powers to Cassie. So now we have a whole new team. And it's kind of crazy because Justin is the only one. And it was funny because he was a kid. The actor's Blake Foster played Justin Stewart. He was the only one who lasted that whole season because as that season ended, Divatox had some very mischievous things to do, like freeze the sun, destroy the Earth, and take over space. And so she destroys the Power Rangers Command Center. They lose their powers, and the Power Rangers go into space, except Justin. He stays behind in order to save Zordon and go to the Sumerian planet. And they ended up going into this spaceship out of nowhere, who's led by the Red Space Ranger, which is Andros. And he thinks they're intruders, but he decides after that the Power Rangers want to help him that he would give them all morphers. TJ's the Blue Ranger, Carlos is the Black Ranger, Ashley's still the Yellow Ranger, and Cassie's still the Pink Ranger. Now we're going Dark Spectre, that's who I was thinking of. That's the lava monster. So Astronema is the villain of Power Rangers in Space, and she is Dark Spectre's she's one of Dark Spectre's minions. And so after so let's say halfway in the season, we're introduced to Zane, which is the Silver Space Ranger, and he was basically frozen, a best friend of Andros's that he was just trying to save, who was living on his spaceship. And we're also introduced to the Psycho Rangers, who are some of the most iconic villains in the Power Rangers franchise, who we're going to get to that, some of the parts in a bit, but anyway, now, as the season ends, Andros kills Zordon, and Zordon sends this wave of peace that gets all the evil out, and all the evil characters either disintegrate into dust or they turn into good people. Now, after Power Rangers in Space, the Zordon era comes to an end. And now we're starting with Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. So there's a thing called the Terra Venture where Leo's not supposed to be in there, and he sneaks on. And then he meets 4 other random people. One of them's a soldier named Kai, and one I think's a caretaker named Damon. One is I think she lives in a rainforest, and her name's Maya, and someone on the Terra Venture named Kendrix. And so they take these swords out of a stone, like it's specifically for them. And Leo's brother Mike goes missing, who was supposed to be the Red Ranger, apparently, but Leo became the Red Ranger. And so Trakina is the main villain. And so halfway into that season, Leo decides he's going to blow her up, basically. And Mike becomes Magna Defender, who was this Power Ranger thing, who decided he was going to give him the powers. And you basically get it. But then there's another new villain. It was a pirate named Mutiny, and but yeah, Trakina manages to find a way back as well, and basically the season ends as they put their swords back in the stone, and if they needed them again, they'd come back. And I forgot to mention one thing. So long story short, the actor who played Kendricks had cancer and had to take a leave, so they decided to bring the Psycho Rangers back, and the Psycho Ranger basically kills Kendricks and is replaced by Astronema, basically, who is Corone for the rest of that season. And so now we're going to move on to Lightspeed Rescue. I probably forgot some things in there, but anyway, we're going into Lightspeed Rescue. We are introduced to, Vipra is Subband, who's the villain of that. And so a fireman named Carter becomes the Red Ranger. A pilot named Joel becomes the Green Ranger. And I'm trying to think. Chad becomes the Blue Ranger, and he's like a diver or something. And then Kelsey becomes the Yellow Ranger, and Dana, who's a paramedic, becomes the Pink Ranger. And so now, halfway through the season, we're introduced to the Silver Ranger, which is Ryan, who apparently was kidnapped by Vipra and was one of their own, and he stole the titanium morpher, and he lost the powers and had to get them back. It's a pretty dark season, actually, because he has this tattoo of Vipra who is climbing up up his back trying to kill him. And yeah, basically now but basically he joins the Rangers. But the fun fact about this in Go-Go 5, which is the Sentai alternative, he is there's no Titanium Ranger. They was basically written in Power Rangers. So now we're going to my favorite season, which is Time Force, which birthed my love for the franchise. So we go to the year 3000, and we have it's called Time Force, the police service. So there's a Power Ranger named Alex who goes after Rancic, and Rancic basically kills him and then takes all the monsters that are in, I don't know, is in freeze basically, but I don't know how to describe it, but they're basically frozen. They're like little toys, and they're in this little frozen thing. And he goes with his daughter Nadira, Frax, and Gluto all the way back to the year 2001. And basically, the morphers can only be unlocked by DNA. So Lucas becomes. Oh wait, I forgot to mention that they transport Rancic to a prison, and Jen is guarding, who becomes a Pink Ranger, and they realize it's their job to get Rancic. So they travel back to the year 2001 to capture Rancic. And they run into a guy named Wes who looks exactly like Alex. And so Wes is used to summon the morphers. And they think he's a bit of a dipshit. So they say, "You're no longer helping us." And they need his help. So he ends up becoming the Red Ranger for the Time Force. Or just Time Force. And so after all that's done, we're introduced to so Wes's family. He's in this rich family, and there's a thing called the Silver Guardians, which Wes's dad founded, and they find out he's the Red Ranger after he gets hurt, and it blows his mask off. Basically, like it's like this basically. So after that, Eric, who's Wes's friend that he is jealous of because he doesn't have money, kind of resents him and becomes the leader of the Silver Guardians. So he manages to find the quantum powers, which were I don't know what, but he puts it on. Now he's the quantum, and now he's got a quantum morpher. And he's the Quantum Ranger, and ultimately, Wes and Eric travel back in time, and they get Q-Rex, which is the Megazord for the Quantum Ranger. And so it's this basically the story. It probably has the best love story of any franchise between Wes and Jen. But yeah, I forgot to mention Katie is the Yellow Ranger, and Trip is the Green Ranger. Lucas is the Blue Ranger. But yeah, anyway, so they are told they have to go back towards the end to the year 3000 because time has been altered. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. Alex comes back to the year 2001, forces the Morpher off West because of the time altering, and basically Rancic goes and tries to kill Wes's dad, and ultimately the Rangers decide they don't want Alex to be the Red Ranger. They want Wes, and he's their leader. Alex saves Wes's dad, and finally, the season comes to an end as Wes has the Rangers go back to the year 3000, and they're saying don't send us back, and they're crying as they're going back. So yeah, after that season, no, after that, Wes decided he was going to take on like it was like 1,000 I'm trying to think what the name was. Psycho. No, can't think of the name right now, but it was like these robots basically, and so what happens after this is the Rangers go back to the year 2001 to save Wes, and Eric also gets hurt and gives Wes his morpher, so he's the quantum powers now. So after that, they capture Rancic. Decides that he wants to do good, and he is arrested. And after Rancic is arrested, they all say their goodbyes and their thank yous. Jen and Wes say to each other they love each other, and then they basically never see each other again. So now we're going to go into Wild Forest. So on the Andamarium, it's an island. It's shaped like a turtle for some reason in the sky. And there lives a jungle boy named Cole. And so he is found there by, he's found and he's given this cell phone like morpher. And there's 4 other people there. Taylor, the Yellow Ranger, who's already the Yellow Ranger. And we have Max, the Blue Ranger. And we have Danny, who is the Black Ranger, and we have Alyssa, the White Ranger. And so Cole becomes the Red Ranger, and then we're introduced to Zanaku, who's this wolf-like thing, and he is evil, basically. And the villain is Master Org, and we have Toxica and Jindrax. So finally, Cole is given this... and they're basically the season is them finding animals to have as Megazords, which I thought was pretty cool at the time. But yeah, so this is a controversial season too because this is when Disney bought Fox. So Power Rangers was no longer in Hamsabon's hands; it was now in Disney's hands. And this was supposed to be the very last season of Power Rangers. And so the season kind of got cut off as Master Org is no longer the leader, but anyway, that was a little too far in, but Merrick is discovered to actually be Zanaku, and he is the 6th Ranger now. He's the Lunar Wolf Ranger. And yeah, so there is, trying to think how this ended now. Basically, it ended with them getting the island down, them standing up to Master Org, and they're all free, and basically Alyssa becomes a teacher, Daddy and Max travel the world, Taylor's a pilot, and Cole's helping animals. And I'm trying to think who that woman was, but she was like the mentor of the Power Rangers. Her and Merrick get married, I believe. But so they decided Power Rangers was no longer a thing, except they realized how much money it made. So now we're introduced to Power Rangers Ninja Storm, and there's a ninja school with 3 teenagers, Shane, Dustin, and Tori. Shane's a skateboarder, Dustin's a dirt biker, and Tori's a surfer. And so they're late one day, and the ninja school is captured. The sensei turns into a guinea pig, and his son is there and saying that you guys are Power Rangers, basically. And so later in that season, we're introduced to Hunter and Blake, which are 2 brothers who don't look alike, and they are the Navy and Crimson Rangers. Well, Hunter's Crimson, Blake is Navy. And they're villains in the beginning, basically thinking that because they're from the Thunder Ninja School and they're from the Wind Ninja School, that they're rivals and they also destroyed the school or whatever. And they're trying to say that you can join us. They ultimately join, they form a nice Megazord. And after that, their mentor Cam travels back in time and is given this green sphere, and then he becomes the Green Ranger. And so after that season's over, basically all Shane, Tori, and Dustin become senseis, and Master Amino, who is the sensei to the Thunder Ninja School, names Hunter the sensei. And now we move on to Dino Thunder. Tommy returns! And it's introduced to him fighting off not Kelzax, that's the season before that, but yeah, so he becomes a teacher in Reefside, and once he moves there, he's just living a quiet, normal life, low key, and we don't know if he's married to Kat or not, because that was what it was speculated to be. And after, so there's 3 kids. There's Connor, Ethan, and Kira, and they're all sent to the principal's office. Tommy takes them to a museum, and ultimately he tells them to find something cool. Ultimately, they get attacked, and after they get attacked, they hide, and then they realize they're in this cave-like thing, and then they pick up these gems, and the gems basically chose them. And so in that episode, Kira's captured. They go back to see Dr. Oliver, which is Tommy in the show, and he's not doesn't look too happy, and he basically says that the gems chose them. And so after that is done, they're now the Power Rangers, and then Tommy is captured by Mesogog, the villain. And so after Mesogog is captured, has captured Tommy, he escapes, and he takes the Black Dino gem, and now he's the Black Ranger. And so now Anton Mercer, it's funny because in this season the villains live normal lives. The Principal Randall is basically trying to think of the name, but she's the villain to she's like the assistant villain to Mesogog, causing trouble, which is gonna get interesting later. And so Mesogog's son Trent discovers his secret lair and takes the evil White Ranger powers that take over him. Eventually, they make a second White Ranger who is apparently evil, and so Trent could help with the Rangers. And as the season ends, Principal Randall and Tommy start fist fighting in the school. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Tommy basically is stuck in his suit and can't get out after Trent trapped him and he tried to help him. But yeah, so they basically solved everything at the end of the season, and now we move on to SBD, which takes place in 2025, ironically. And the show made in 2005, and it was also based on one of the best Super Sentai seasons, Deca Ranger. So we start out with 3 police officers, Sky, Bridge, and Sydney Drew. And so there's these 2 criminals who steal from the rich and give to the poor, basically, Jack and Z. And so they get arrested, and they also have these mutated powers, basically. And so after that, Z decides she's going to join them, and Sky's the Blue Ranger, and he's supposed to be the Red Ranger. He is pissed. And then we have Z, who's the Yellow Ranger now, and we have Sydney's the Pink Ranger, and Bridge is the Green Ranger. Jack becomes the Red Ranger, and Sky resents him for it. And so the leader is a dog, I know, and he becomes the Shadow Ranger. And we have Cat, who's a literal cat-like human, become the Cat Ranger when it looks like a swan. And then we're introduced to the Omega Ranger, who how do you say this? Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, they took over A Squad, they were B Squad, and A Squad was captured, but they become evil. I think I just didn't want to spoil that part, and the Power Rangers had to fight A Squad now. And the Omega Ranger was Sam, who was this kid the Power Rangers found, and he had superpowers. But yeah, Emperor Grum is the villain, and basically the show ended with them defeating him. Now we're introduced to Mystic Force, which I kind of lost interest in Power Rangers at this time, but I still watched it. We're introduced to a town called Briarwood, which has these teenagers, Xander, Chip, Madison, and Vita. And in that series, they decide to they go into a forest and they meet this guy named Nick who's rebellious, who's on a motorcycle, and they find this, what do you call, how do you say it? They see all these monsters, and then they're basically given mystic powers, but Nick doesn't want to join them, but does later on. That's what's been happening in a lot of the seasons. And so we're introduced to Daggeron, who's the Gold Ranger. And I mean, I didn't really find the season interesting. It was I don't really think they put a lot of heart into it. And I think it had a lot of potential personally. It had a good theme song, one of the best Power Ranger theme songs, honestly. And then yeah, so basically Nick meets his dad, which is can't think of the name, Korag, I think it is, but he's like the Blue Knight like villain, and he's actually Udana, who is the mentor of the Power Rangers. So they realize Udana's son was Nick, and they brought him there, and their dad was really Korag, where they go on and go off into the sunset on motorcycles. Now we're gonna go to Operation Overdrive. Now it starts out with I'm trying to think, Dr. Hartford. He's basically looking for gems or something like that, and he decides to bring in 4 people to help him, and he has a son named Mac, who is a spoiled kid apparently. So now we have trying to think. Will's the Black Ranger, and Ronnie's the Yellow Ranger. I have to look at this one. This is funny. This is the one season I forget, but so we have Rose is the Pink Ranger, Dax is the Blue Ranger, and Mac isn't supposed to help, but he's there. And so the Morpher drops, and Mac decides he's the Red Ranger to save their lives. After that is said and done, they are looking all over for the Corona Aurora, which is a very valuable thing. And there's 3 different villains in this series. And so halfway in, there's this alien named Tyzon who ends up becoming the 6th Ranger. This is so funny. This is, okay, which Ranger was he again? Okay, here we go. Tyzon was the Mercury Ranger. There we go. That's why I didn't think about it. I didn't really pay much attention to this series, but I thought it was cool when Mac was actually a robot programmed by Dr. Hartford. And so, as the season ended, and this is funny because I like this scene, Mac decides he's going to sacrifice himself to save the Earth, and he's no longer working, and the Corona Aurora gives him powers. It's like Pinocchio, and he's human. So that's said and done. I'm not the best when it comes to this season, but we're going to get into Jungle Fury, which is basically a martial arts season. And so this evil, okay, I just had his name. It's but anyways, Casey, Lily, and Theo are in this school of martial arts, and Daishi, who is causing trouble, gets expelled, and he causes trouble. And so RJ, who runs a pizza shop, decides to give him these glasses to morph into, because in the Sentai series they'd have to carry these claw-like things and press onto them to morph. So yeah, and RJ becomes the Purple Ranger, and Dominic becomes the Rhino Ranger. And now we're on to RPM, which is, in my opinion, one of the best seasons ever. So they're in this guarded area because the world has changed and it's become an evil place. And the villain is basically a virus. And so we're introduced to the Red Ranger, which is Scott, and the... Fuck, I'm trying to think what the Blue Ranger was. But... Okay, I have to look at this one too. A little bit. So we have, okay, this is so funny. So the Green Ranger is Ziggy. The Black Ranger is played by, fuck, what's his name? Dan Ewan. And he plays Dylan. And we have Flynn's the Blue Ranger. There we go. And we have Summer as the Yellow Ranger. And so basically the main character is Dylan. He doesn't know who he is, where he is, and he's suddenly the Black Ranger. But Ziggy becomes the Green Ranger in order for okay, now I'm looking at this again. So the villain doesn't get it. So now we meet Gem and Gemma, who are the Gold and Silver Rangers of this season. And okay, this is so funny. What's the villain name? Venjix, there we go. This is funny because I used to watch this season religiously. So Venjix decides he's gonna he sees the virus basically. And so after they defeat Venjix, they're all free. Power Rangers was supposed to end right there again. Until Nickelodeon bought it. And so we're introduced to Power Rangers Samurai, which is I didn't really watch this season, but as from the episodes, it looked a lot like Shinkenja, which is what it was based from. So anyway, I might have to look at this one too. Where are we here? Samurai. Okay. Wow. Okay, I hated this season. So Jaden's the Red Ranger, Mia's the Pink Ranger, Mike's the Green Ranger, Kevin's the Blue Ranger, and Emily is the Yellow Ranger. And then it was trying to think who the Gold Ranger was. Just had his name. But ironically, the guy who plays Cole plays Decker in this season. I'm not going to get into Ricardo Medina Jr. If you guys want to look at that yourselves, go ahead. But yeah, so they're Samurai Rangers. Bulk comes back in this season too, who is the comic relief, like I mentioned. And now okay, where am I here? Okay, I'm trying to think. So yeah, they have a Gold Ranger in it too, which is Antonio. I didn't know that one because I didn't really pay attention this season, but yeah, and it's the first one was a female Red Ranger. It's Jaden's sister. I can't think of her name right now, but it's funny because all this was based off memory. But once I got to Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, it was kind of getting a little dim because I'm like, I didn't really like that season. But anyway, we're gonna get into Mega Force, which I think had so much potential, but they just decided to shit on it completely. Like I'm talking in a toilet. But anyway, we're gonna start out. So Troy's the Red Ranger. They try to like rip off Mighty Morphin completely, but Troy's the Red Ranger. Noah's the Blue Ranger. Okay, what's the Black Ranger's name? Okay, I have to look this up again. This is hilarious. Okay. I'll just look up on Google here. So, Emma's the Pink Ranger, Gia's the Yellow Ranger, and Jake is the Black Ranger. And they're also introduced to Orion, which is an alien. But yeah, so there wasn't really much to say about it. It wasn't even that good of a season in hindsight 2020. And I don't think it's worth watching as a Power Rangers fan to a non-Power Rangers fan. But then they have Super Mega Force, where they're given the pirate-like costumes from Gokaiger, which is another one of the best Super Sentai seasons ever. And what makes me so mad about this season is they only featured Time Force once, which any Power Rangers fan will tell you is the best season. Like, aside from Mighty Morphin and all the nostalgia, Time Force and RPM are the best seasons. But and SPD too, and Dino Thunder. But anyway, we're getting into the final battles where all the Power Rangers are featured, and now we're going to go to the last one, which is Dino Charge. And so this one's kind of funny because a caveman is the first ever Power Ranger in this. Lots of Power Rangers are featured in this season. So Tyler's the Red Ranger, Shelby's the Pink Ranger, Chase is the Black Ranger, Riley's the Green Ranger, and Koda, the caveman, is the Blue Ranger. And more Power Rangers are introduced along the way. Like, okay, where am I doing here? So, where are we here? Okay. Sir Ivan of Xander is the Gold Ranger. Prince Philip is the Graphite Ranger. And Kendall Morgan becomes the Pink Ranger after they find the Purple Ranger in New Zealand or something. And then there's the Dino Charge Silver Ranger. So, but yeah, this is kind of funny because I kind of lied. I might get into Ninja Steel a little bit because it was an anniversary season. So during Ninja Steel, they decided to recycle the main villain of Dino Charge, which was I'm trying to think, where is he here? Sledge. There we go. And so they basically had the reunion, and it was one of Jason David Frank's last appearances as Tommy, and before he passed away, unfortunately, in 2022. But yeah, I would say Dino Charge is it was Dino Charge and then Ninja Steel, but I believe no, that didn't happen. I thought Hasbro, but I know Hasbro owns it now, but or Netflix. But yeah, yeah, that's all the Power Rangers history I'm gonna provide. And I thought about this because, like I said, I didn't know about Doctor Who, so I didn't really give the best one. I thought I was going to do way better, but there's no real way to describe Power Rangers quickly. I would probably have to be here for like 5 straight hours talking about it, but I hope you like this video. This was really difficult because I'm thinking about it in my head, and then I'm like, oh, I forgot this, I forgot that, forgot this, forgot that. But thank you so much for watching, and peace out.